Why, as humans, do we feel like we need that diversity?
In one word, marketing. Eat the rainbow is a marketing term. That's not good health advice. There is no reason that humans should eat the rainbow, to try to eat as varied and as wide a diet. The only possible benefit of that is if you're eating a predominantly plant-based diet, which by definition is going to be devoid of many nutrients that you need, and a long list of nutrients that can only be found in animal-based foods. Then maybe you do need to eat the rainbow. You do need to eat stuff from every continent on earth that's been shipped over on cargo ships or cargo planes. Maybe you do need to do that. But if you're eating a species appropriate, proper human diet, you don't need to eat the rainbow. And the big food corporations, I can guess what? Hint, hint, they're going to make less money if you don't eat the rainbow and eat all these varied, wide foods that they've trucked in and shipped in from all over the world. It's going to hurt their profits. And so they're not for that. But if you eat just a very narrow list of foods that human beings have been eating for thousands of years, and many of my detractors will say, "Oh, that's an appeal to nature or an appeal to history." No, it's an appeal to biology. Just like the cow has been successfully eating only grass for millions of years. And it's not only are cows optimized when they eat only grass, their reproductive fitness is improved. Everything about them is optimized when they eat only grass. So it would be like a veterinarian coming up with this new line of cow food saying, "Oh no, cows should eat the rainbow. We've got a little salmon in there for the cows, and we've got some herbs from Asia, and we've got some roots from South America. These cows need to eat the rainbow." That'd be a great marketing ploy, right? You might make millions of dollars feeding cows the rainbow, but are you going to improve the cow's health? No, the cows figured this out long ago, and they don't stray from that because they want to be healthy, just like every human watching this wants to be healthy.
And again, with your cow example, it's getting complicated. It's getting expensive. Why are we doing this?
Anytime you complicate something, Jesse, you create a profit opportunity, right? And that's why people are like, "Dude, I can't tell you how many supplement companies have reached out to me over the years of me doing this, and like they're like, dude, they'd send me an email. You're leaving easy 6 figures a year on the table." Easy, maybe 7 figures a year. You're leaving it on the table. If we came up with a line of proper human diet, not pharmaceuticals, but just nutraceuticals. And it could be almost like a medical grade supplement. Oh my God, you could make a 500,000, 10 million. The sky's the limit. And I have a one word answer. It's not actually a word, it's a gesture. I'm not interested in that. I'm not here to make $10 million. I'm here to help 10 million people throw off the propaganda and throw off the marketing and say, "No, I'm a Homo sapien sapien. There's got to be a diet that optimizes our health, just like there's a diet for cows, there's a diet for wolves, there's a diet for our dogs and cats." The rate of obesity in dogs and cats is through the roof right now. Is it because we're feeding them too much meat and fish and eggs? It's because we're feeding them grain-based, pea-based kibble that the big pet food manufacturers are making millions of dollars a year off of. They have a big ad budget. They tell you how healthy this is for your beloved pet. And now all the cats are diabetic and going blind and having kidney failure. All the dogs are so fat that there's a market for stairs, for doggy stairs, for your dog to get up on the bed. Right? Now, if you got a Chihuahua, okay, get your dog some stairs. But if you've got a medium to large sized dog and they're so fat that you have to build or buy doggy stairs for them, they're not eating a proper dog diet. If your cat's diabetic, you're not feeding your cat a proper cat diet. It's just that simple. Cats don't develop type 2 diabetes just for the hell of it, just for kicks and giggles. Dogs don't develop kidney failure and diabetes and obesity just for the fun of it. They're developing those things because of the marketed food that you're ignorantly but lovingly feeding your pet. Stop that. Dogs are facultative carnivores, meaning that the majority of their food should be meat. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning anything you feed them that is not meat is going to directly harm their health. And so, anybody listening, if you think that you're helping your pet or helping the world by making your dog or cat a vegan, that's actually pet abuse. You may not be meaning to abuse your cat or your dog, but it's 100% pet abuse. And please stop that.
Let's stick on this diversity piece here and bring it back to humans. I know you have your beef, butter, bacon, eggs as a way to simplify for people if they want to experiment with that. When it comes to the carnivore diet, to get all the nutrients we need, how narrow can that diet be?
We have people who eat only ruminant animals. This is a subset of the carnivore diet called the lion diet, and I only recommend it for people with multiple autoimmune conditions or very, very severe autoimmune conditions or severe inflammatory conditions where you eat only ruminant meat, which in modern society would be cow, sheep, goat. That's the three ruminants that you can usually buy at a supermarket. Now you may have to go to the Asian or the Hispanic market to get the goat or to get the sheep sometimes, but I notice more and more you're able to get sheep, especially lamb chops. Everybody thinks that's the only cut of meat on a sheep, but there's not. But those are ruminants, and that's a special kind of meat because they have a multi-chamber stomach that really does magical things. Unless you really want to dig into bovine physiology, let's just call it magic, because what their stomach is able to turn grass and weeds into, it's magical how they can do it, and they have the help of trillions of bacteria to do it. But the chicken and fish are fine, I think, for carnivores, but they're monogastrics, which means they only have one chamber in their stomach, a lot like us. And so they're able to eat a much broader, diverse. They're able to eat the rainbow, Jesse. But what winds up happening is their meat is not quite as healthy as ruminant meat, and so that there might be another lesson in there somewhere. But I think for the average person, chicken and pork and turkey and other fowl and other animals are totally fine to eat, unless you've got severe inflammatory conditions or severe autoimmune conditions, in which case you need to look into that subset of the carnivore diet, which is the lion diet. And so I think it can be quite narrow in what you eat. Because if I would love if somebody would crunch the numbers and just say, okay, these 100 people are going to eat nothing but beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Free choice, whatever you like, whatever you want. And these people, these 100 or 500, have equal groups. We are going to ship in every vegan friendly food from all over planet Earth. And if there's anything growing on Mars, we're going to ship that in too, so that they can eat the most diverse, widest rainbow of vegan foods that is possible for a human to eat. With all the refrigerated trucks and refrigerated transport ships, we're going to ship this stuff from everywhere. The person eating the lowly diet of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs that's available in every supermarket, and I'm not talking about the expensive pastured grass fed, I'm talking about the cheap beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. They are actually going to be receiving more nutrition from those four foods than our group of people who are eating every root, every berry, every leaf from all six continents of planet Earth where plants will grow. They're going to be getting more nutrition with that very simple, very easy, and quite affordable diet. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I will help fund that study. If there's a vegan out there, a big vegan influencer who watches Jesse, I bet there's two or three. And you're like, Dr. Berry's full of crap. There's no way. Let's go. Let's raise the funds and let's do that study. And I think that the poor vegans will be very disappointed in the results.
Let's talk more about the food quality, because somebody adopting any diet on this continuum we're talking about, if this is new to them, they're going to go to the grocery store, they're going to go to the butcher, and that's one of the first things that they're going to encounter, where there's this spectrum of quality of the meat. So let's talk about how big of a difference that makes.
So from the research that I've read, and it's quite extensive, I've really looked into this, both not only in just human nutrition research, but also in veterinary nutrition research. What do animals eat? What does that do to the meat when they eat that? So there is a range of, let's say, quality of different qualities of meat. So the cheap 10-pound discount pack of ground beef, 70/30, that you would buy at the cheapest grocery, right? That's not going to be quite as good as if you raise your own cattle and rotationally graze them and just baby them and make sure that they've got the best quality grass and forage and legumes to eat. And so the research shows that depending on which nutrient you're talking about, the grass-fed, grass-finished, panda-massaged meat is going to be 3 to 10% better, depending on which nutrient. So if it's omega-3 fatty acids, it's going to be 3 to 7% better. If you're talking about some of the vitamins and minerals, it's going to be 5 to 10% better. But just because it's better doesn't make the cheap meat bad. It just makes it slightly less good. And so you're right. So many people are like, man, this carnivore is popular and I need to lose some weight. I'm going to go carnivore. And then they start watching influencers and are like, oh, you don't want to buy that supermarket beef. You want this $42 a pound grass-fed, grass-finished beef that, and I've got an affiliate link right here. You just click on this link. If you can afford grass-fed, grass-finished, if that's not going to hurt your pocketbook, by all means do that. It's 3 to 10% better for you. But if money is an issue, and I don't know about you, Jesse, but there was a time in my life I was broke as a joke. And if you said, hey, we want to sell you this beef for $30 a pound, I'd have been like, well, I guess I'll starve because I can't afford that. And so what I'm telling people is you can buy beef, butter, bacon, and eggs from the cheapest supermarket, from the cheapest source. That is going to have a quality of nutrition that is better than the most expensive box of cereal at Whole Foods, than the most expensive loaf of bread at Whole Foods, the most expensive granola. I'm talking about the stuff that even middle class vegans can't afford. That just crazy expensive vegan stuff. The beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is going to win every time. And I'm sorry if that hurts people's feelings. That the truth is what it is. And I think once we're able to fund that study with me and some of my vegan colleagues, I think that the numbers will show definitively you're going to get always more nutrition from beef, butter, bacon, and eggs than you get from any kind of a plant-based diet, no matter how varied it is.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch a full episode. I'll see you over there.
Dispel the myth that keto or carnivore is some fad diet. This is literally the oldest diet known to humanity. It cannot be bad for you because the 4 things that humans have been doing for the longest period of time